Welcome back, students. We are back with another lesson. Now, in our last class, we have discussed the dimensions. Now, in our today's class, we will check the some applications of dimensions. That what are dimensions used for? Okay, what are the benefits of using the dimensions? So, one of those application is the conversion of one system of unit to another. That means if you are given a physical quantity in SI unit and if you want to convert it into a CGS unit, then how can we do? Using our dimensions. Or I can say your SI system, we know it is your MKS system where M is for meter, K is kilogram, S is second. So if a physical quantity is given in MKS unit and you want to convert it into CGS unit, that means centimeter, gram, second, then how you'll do it? Fine. So suppose if I want to convert my 1 kg, which is given in your MKS system, which is also your SI unit. Fine. 1 kg. If we want to convert this 1 kg into grams, then how we will do it? We can do it using dimensions. So here you are given a physical quantity. Let us say this physical quantity is Q1. You have to convert this physical quantity Q1 into a system of another units. A physical quantity in another units, that is Q2. So you have to convert your Q1 into Q2. Now if you look carefully in this Q1, in this physical quantity, you have a number, you have a unit. So let us suppose this number is N1, this unit is U1. Fine. So your physical quantity Q1 can be written as N1 and U1. Now you have to convert it into a system of another units. So here also you will have some numerical value N2 and you will have the unit U2. Fine. Out of this 4 variables, you know N1. N1 is how much? 1. You know U1. Unit is how much? Kg. Here you know U2. U2 is how much? Grams. But you don't know how much is N2. So our question is to find this value of N2. So if this is a unit, that means it should have a dimensions. If it has a dimensions, I already told you, whenever we write dimensions, we write in terms of M, we write in terms of L, and we write in terms of T, MLT. And since we are dealing with first physical quantity, so I've used the notation 1 here. So whenever you write the dimension of this one, you write in terms of mass, length, time, where this mass is of some power A, L is of some power B, T is of some power C. Fine. Fine. So similarly, you can write your second physical quantity as N2, and the unit of this system is M2 to the power A, L2 to the power B, T2 to the power C. Fine. So what you are doing, you are converting this unit to another unit. Similarly, this number N1 will also change to number N2. Fine. So here this 1 is represented by N1, this kg is represented by some power of MLT. Here this question mark is N2. We don't know the value of N2, and this gram is represented some power of MLT. Fine. So to find out this value of N2, what we can do is we can send this whole term to the other side. So I can write N1 equals to this upon this, which in turn will give us this value of question mark. Fine. Or on further simplification, I can also write I can write my number N2. This should be equals to this number N1 times the dimension for this one divided by the dimensions of this one should give us the value of N2. Fine. So let me write this expression in my next line. So if I have to convert this 1 kg to grams, I can use this formula. But before using this formula, let us write this kg in terms of mlt. Similarly, this gram in terms of mlt. So if you want to write this kg in terms of dimensions, you write first m1, l1, t1. Now this kg has a power of 1. Okay, and this is a unit for your mass. So this is your mass, and how much is the power? 1. So the mass will have power 1, rest all the term will have power 0. Similarly, you can convert this gram also. Fine. So you don't know this value, so simply write N2. Next, write down this G in terms of mlt first. Now check, what is the power of G? G has a power 1. Similarly, this G is a unit for mass. So now, this is the dimension for mass. It will be having how much power? 1. Rest all the terms. Length is 0. Time is also 0. Fine. So you know the value of this ABC. The value of A is how much? 1. B is how much? 0. C is how much? 0. Similarly, in this case for M2, A is how much? 1. L is how much? B is how much? 0. C is how much? 0. Fine. Fine. So let me just write the powers here so that we don't get confused. A is 1, B is 0, C is 0. This is applicable for this unit also. Fine. So now you need to find out the value of N2. Now look here. What is the value of N1? It is 1. Fine. Now substitute this one. M to the power A. A is how much? 1. So write down M to the power 1. Similarly, L1 to the power B. B is how much? 0. So L1 to the power 0. Similarly, your T1. T1 to the power C. C is how much? 0. So write down here T1 to the power 0. Okay, similarly, you can write for the denominator as well. You can write M2 to the power 1, L2 to the power 0, T2 to the power 0. Now what we can do is write this M in an individual bracket, write this L in an individual bracket, write this T in an individual bracket. So if you write this one in terms of this individual bracket, it will be M1 upon M2, both have the same power A. Similarly, L1 upon L2, both have the same power B, and T1 upon T2, both have the same power C. And you know how much is A? 1. B is how much? 0. C is how much? 0. Fine. So we can make this similar modification in our formula as well. Here you have this quantity M1 by M2 to the power A, L1 by L2 to the power B, T1 by T2 to the power C. Fine. So this will be your general expression. So now here, after you have got this one, okay, now what we will do is, okay, now let me write this in my next slide. Fine. So now look here, this MKS, in this MKS unit, your mass is given in kg. M1 is 1 kg, and gram, and in the CGS unit you are given M2 in grams, 1 grams. Okay, now if you remember the order of 10, this is your order of 10. Okay, we have discussed this in our lesson 3. Here your kilo, this K represents how much order of 10? 10 to the power 3. Fine. So similarly here this 1 kilo means how much? 10 to the power 3, that is 1000. Fine. So what we have done, we have written M1 and M2 in terms of the same unit, gram. Can you see? M1 is how much? 1000 grams. M2 is how much? 1 grams. Fine. Now here L2, sorry, here L1 is 0, L2 is 0, T1 is 0, T2 is 0. Simply write down. Okay, or instead let's just write this L and T also. Okay. So in your MK system, L1 is measured in meters, L2 is measured in centimeters. If I want to convert this 1 meter to centimeter, we know 100 centimeter equals to 1 meter. Fine. Similarly, what I've done, I've written my L1 and L2 in terms of this centimeter. Fine. Now similarly, you can write T1 and T2. Okay, so T1 is 1 second, T2 is also 1 second. Fine. There's no difference in the values in both the unit. In MK system, it is measured in seconds. In CGS system is also measured in seconds. So what you do next is substitute this value of M1, substitute this value of M2, substitute this value of L1, substitute this value of L2, substitute the value of T1, substitute the value of T2. Fine. So after you substitute, it will look somewhat like this. Now since I've told that they are of the power 0, okay, look, they are of the power 0, so you can simply ignore this term. What will happen? Anything to the power 0 is 1, anything to the power 0 is 1. Okay, so the only concentration is on this part. Okay, now look here, this is 1000 grams upon 1 grams. Okay, this gram you can ignore. So what you have? 1 times 1000 to the power 1. Okay, so 1 times 1000 is how much? 1000. So how much is the value of N2? 1000. Therefore, how much should be the value of this question mark? It should be 1000. Fine. So substitute this value of N2. So 1 kg equals to 1000 grams. Okay. So this is one way to convert one dimensions to another. Okay, you can check the value using this order of magnitude also. Here you know how much is 1 kilo. Kilo means 10 to the power 3. 10 to the power 3 means 1000. So what you can do instead is 1 kg equals to, how much should be the value? 10 to the power 3. 10 to the power 3 means how much? 1000 grams. So simply you can also write 1 kg equals to 1000 grams. Okay, let's take one more example. Okay, suppose there is a problem given. You have to convert this 1 meter to centimeter. Okay, you can always use this power of 10 chart. So according to this one, 1 centimeter equals to how much? 10 to the power minus 2. But in terms of meter, it will be 10 to the power 2. That means 100 meter. 10 to the power 2 meter equals to 1 centimeter. Fine. So here it should have a value of 10 to the power 2. You can do it like this also, or you can use the traditional method, the method which I have taught you here. Okay, so according to this method, first what you have to do is, first you have to classify this physical quantity in terms of N1, U1, N2, U2. Here you know N1, here you know U1, you don't know N2, but you know U2. Fine. So first make a table. This 1 meter is given in SI, so write down SI here. This centimeter is given in CGS, so write down CGS here. Fine. So look here, this 1 represents your N2 and this meter is in U1. But what did I say? You have to write this U1 in terms of MLT. Fine. So you have M1A, L1B, T1C. Fine. Now in this case, let us first write the value of M1. Now since this is a SI system, in SI system, that means your MKS system. In MK system, we measure mass in 1 kg. So first write down M1 equals to 1 kg. Now similarly, write its counter in CGS. In CGS, you write M2. And in CGS, we measure mass in terms of grams. So M2 equals to 1 grams. Fine. Next, what you do is convert this 1 kg into grams first. So 1 kilo. Kilo means 10 to the power 3. 10 to the power 3 means 1000. So 1 kg means 1000 grams. Fine, so you have written 1000 grams. Now similarly, write down the value of L1, write the value of L2. Now in this case, in the SI unit is your MKS unit. MKS unit means mass is measured in meters. So write down L1 equals to 1 meters. This is your CGS unit. L2 is measured in centimeters. So write down 1 centimeter here. Fine. Now what you have to do? Again bring them to the same unit. So write down 1 meter in terms of centimeter. You will write 100 centimeter. Fine. And finally you write down the time. Time in MKS system is measured in seconds. So 1 second. Time in CGS is in 1 second also. It is also measured in 1 second. So first what you have to do? Make this table. Fine. Make this table, balance this unit. Okay, balance this unit means make them the same unit. After you have made them into the same unit, next what you do is use this formula. Okay, here N1 represents the system where we know, N2 represents the system where we don't know. Fine. So here we remember, we know what is 1 kg. So we have given this system as 1. Here you don't know in grams. So we have given the system as 2. And then you use this formula. Since you have to calculate this value of N2. Similarly here also, here we have given this system, the system which we know as 1 and the system which we don't know as 2. Okay, so in this case, how much is the value of N1? Write down this N1 first, and you don't know N2 also here. Okay, so here write down the formula first. Now here this power A, this power B, this power C depends upon the dimension. In this case, if this has a 1 meter, this is your 1 meter. So how can you write this one as? So first you write down 1 meter like this. Okay, so here you first write down the dimensional formula. Okay, so in this case, what will be the dimensional formula for 1 meter? You write down N1 here. Then do you see any unit for mass? This is meter. Note, this is not a mass. Okay, this is meter. You don't see any unit for mass. So what you write? M1 to the power 0. Okay, or simply write down the dimensional formula for 1 meter. What is the dimensional formula for 1 meter? It will be M to the power 0. Since there is no mass, L to the power 1. Since there is a unit of length, and T to the power 0. So there is no unit of time. So from here you will get the A equals to 0, B equals to 1, and C equals to 0. Fine. Now what you do? You substitute these values here. Similarly, substitute these values here. So if you substitute the values, you will get someone like this. This 1 to the power 0 will be simply 1. So write down 1 times 1. Similarly, this is centimeter, centimeter, you can ignore. What you have? 100 to the power 1, and it is to the power 100 divided by 1, and it is to the power 1. So you can write multiplied with 100. Fine. Similarly here it is to the power 0. Anything to the power 0 is 1. So you have 1 times 1 times 100 times 1. So N2 value is how much? It is 100. Therefore you can write this 1 meter as, write this value of N2 here, 100 centimeter. Fine. Fine. So in our next class we will solve some more examples on this conversions of dimensions. Okay, so that's it for today's class. Thank you. And if you have any confusion, please don't hesitate to ask. I will re-explain it to you again. So again, thank you.